yeah, I'm looking forward to having this entire process, this entire course, doing it together and having a good time. All right. So, first and foremost, like this is what I wanted to say, that I'm happy to be here. Secondly, I would like to share that, okay, two links will be forwarded to you all. The first one is the registration link. Of course, you need to fill it up so that at the end of the course, when we have the assessments, so you'll get your certificate as well as the assessments can be conducted. And secondly, there will be a review link as well. In the review link, we would be really glad, and I would want some nice some reviews from you all, so we know how to work better and how to work, make it more enriching for all of you. All right. So do fill up the review link after this after the workshop, and the best review link, the best review will also be getting some nice
Ma'am,
some
your voice is not
appreciation.
audible yet.
Not audible?
No, ma'am.
It's
Oh,
audible for us, ma'am. So you can just leave once and join again because it's audible for everyone else.
okay. And yeah, so the review link, we are done, and we'll start with the session. And before that, I would just like to say, if you have any other queries in the middle of the session or when the session is going on, just either raise your hand or drop in a message in the chat box, so that it's better, and the tempo of the workshop doesn't get disrupted. And please avoid unmuting yourself midway, because what happens, it just disrupts the entire sequence. All right. So, chalo, let's start without any much wait. So, you all know we are going to start with brain development in early childhood. Okay. So, and one more thing, is only English okay, or do you want me to have a mixture of Hindi and English both?
मैम मिक्सचर.
Mixture? ठीक है. Okay. ठीक है. So अभी वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद ब्रेन डेवलपमेंट इन अर्ली चाइल्डहुड. अभी ये जो एक चीज है कि हम ब्रेन डेवलपमेंट कहते हैं, इट मे साउंड एज इफ टू टेक्निकल, और ये क्या है अर्ली चाइल्डहुड के लिए. बट जितना आप उसके ये टॉपिक के ऊपर स्टडीज हुई है, रिसर्चेस हुई है, तो इट रियली शोज कि ये जो हमारे छोटे बच्चे हैं, द अर्ली चाइल्डहुड विच इज दैट एज ग्रुप, is brain development is so crucial. Okay, so I have put across several things, but the agenda for today that we have is, first, how the experiences shape their brain development. Many activities जो आपको दी जाएगी, like मेरा एक फंडा बहुत.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mitali ma'am. Please use English only because many of the schools are from Chennai and Bangalore also. So if you use English, it will be preferable for everyone.
My major agenda, my major funda behind the workshops are that I can try to give you as much as practical ideas, practical activities, games, which you can keep, you can utilize it, you can do it in your classrooms. Okay, theoretical matters, yes, it will be there, but more focus is always given on activities that can be done, because that is what the application comes in. And also the role, and the third point will be the role of teachers, that we want what role the teacher should play in creating this environment. All right, so here we go. So hello once again. Now, when we start with this, yeah. So, as preschool teachers, it's not restricted only to teaching those concepts, like the math concept bol do, ya alphabet bol do. It is not for that. What we are actually doing, what we actually want them is to develop, is to grow their brain. See, as the research says, the 0 to 6 years is the fastest years where the development of the child, the brain development happens, and it happens at 5x speed. So this is what we want. And so whatever we do in the class, whatever, anything that is going on in the classroom is shaping their brains. It is molding their brains. It is, accelerating their brain ahead. So this is what we want. So before, we understand the theoretical part, let us do a quick activity. These activities which I will be putting in. First, teachers, these activities can be done in the classroom as well. So they are, adult friendly and kid friendly as also. And I also want to, I want your participation in it. So it would be nice if you all can, either do it along with me, or, turn on the video and do it along with me, or you can also just listen to the instructions and give me any responses wherever it is needed. Okay. So let's do the first activity. This is the first activity. The first activity, it says that you need to please stand up if possible. Okay. So we can make, yes. Thank you, Ashika Sharma ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. So you please stand up, and now you need to touch your right hand to your left knee. Left knee. Right hand to your left knee. It should go like this. Okay. Now the second step is now your left hand to the right knee. Again, stand up and keep doing it faster. Yes, keep doing it faster. Yes. So now this is also as ma'am was doing it and she did it very well. Thank you so much, ma'am. So आपने यहाँ पे क्या देखा? What did we see? We saw that, okay, as an adult also, we had to keep doing it and we had to like channelize our brains. Like, okay, now this hand will go here, this hand will go on the other knee. So just imagine how challenging it must be for the children when we do this. Okay, so what we did was we did cross movements. And here, these movements which will help the children to focus better, to listen to the instructions, to pay attention to what the teacher is saying and doing it. So these basic simple activities, which, we can make them do whenever, there's any filler time that you need to fill in or anything, you can do it. So as we all know that, action songs, jumping, crawling, dancing, all these activities really help to boost their brain. Okay, so this was one physical activity which I wanted to put in. Now the second one is this one. You need to give instructions. We need to develop their listening skills over here. So you need to clap slow. So you will clap slow. Okay. Then the next step will be now clap fast. So they are listening to the instructions. Now you will tell them now clap slow, then clap fast, then again clap slow, clap fast. So what are we doing? The children, see, for us, it is a very basic, simple activity to do, to perform. But for children, just imagine it will be like, wiring their brain into it and listening to it and managing and, signaling their hands to come on, go clap fast and clap slow. So it is like, controlling their muscles also to do the same thing. So many things are happening over there. So that's what we want with them. Okay. So what... like when we change patterns, the brain, it starts making new connections. It is like, chalo, abhi fast hua, now it is slow. So the new connections are being developed. Okay, now 1 fast and 2 slows. So we are developing these things. They need these experiences to challenge their brain. Okay. Now the third activity, I will say the name of the color, but you say the color that you see. For example, I will say the name. I will say red. But what do you have to say? Anybody can unmute and tell me?
Ma'am, third activity एक बार फिर से explain कर दीजिए.
Sure. See, I will say the name of the color. Okay. The name of the color is written in one color and you have to say the color in which it has been written. For example, I've written red over here. I'll say red because this is a spelling. You have to say the color in which the name is written of this color. So it will be
Blue color.
Blue color. Yes. So now you have to be quick. Okay. So this is one. Second. Come on.
Yellow.
Yellow. Yes. Blue.
Green.
So what did we see over here, teachers? It is little challenging for us. I gave only few, but you can do this in the classroom and you can see it is, this is a tried and tested activity, and it is, the children have a blast. And you should know, then, initially it will be a little slow, but once they get the hang of it, it goes very fast and very smooth. So the idea is to develop those connections, to make them understand that whatever you are seeing, you have to tell your brain, direct your brain that no, you don't have to say that, but you have to say the other thing. So it is like that. So when the brain gets a challenge, it grows stronger. And that is why we need it. And it's not only restricted to worksheets, but you can keep developing new things with it. Now, what we just experienced, what was that? That was basically how the child learns. We want them to move, we want them to play, we want them to jump, we want them to experience things. Not only when it comes to academic, but also in other things like, the physical activity, fine motor skills activities, all those things together, they build up the brain. And as I said earlier, the age of 0 to 6, here it says this particular research that is from the Center of the Developing Child, it says this research says that it is 90% of the brain is developed, by the time they reach 5 years old. So imagine, teachers, you are the fundamentals into this of shaping that brain. So yes. Now, what we experience, the early experiences that they built, what I just mentioned was the connections, the brain connections that we have. So if they get those experiences, those that exposure to try out new things, to challenges to make their brain stronger, imagine their connections will be so strong, the base only will be so strong for them. But if it's only, the child is restricted only to that mundane worksheets or mundane basic things, that instructions and simple things, no challenges are given to them, there won't be any new connections that will develop. And in early childhood, we want them to build as many as connections possible so that their brain can work stronger and faster. Okay, so, and you preschool teachers, you are the brain builders. So you need to keep, you are the one who is challenging them, who's enriching their brains. Yes. So let's just, today basically this is just a gist of what we will do is how to create a brain friendly classroom environment, how, early experiences, they shape their brains, all that I'm going to tell you. I've already discussed, so I'm not going again into that. Now we are going to do is understanding how early experiences shape brain development. Now, since, as I just said, I'm not going to keep repeating many things, those which are like important, I will be repeating them. Rest, I will be just brushing through. So here also, when I'm talking about theories, I found these two theories very interesting, and those, most of the things that we also do, but we also need to know the idea behind it. So that is why I've put it, and let's just have a view about it. Okay, so here first, what we are most important thing, when the child, why do they say, the child when it's born, there's a saying called tabula rasa, if you've heard. The tabula rasa means it's a blank slate. So when the child is born, it's like a blank slate. Whatever you keep writing, it keeps getting into their minds. Yes. So so this is where we come into it. And what do we want them to write? What do we want them to remember? What are the things that should be there into their brains, is where we are there to modulate that. So every child, every time a child, plays, talks, listens, anything, any of the, using their senses, anything, they are building new connections because they are just learning. What we are is how our connections were built, and today this is how we are. Right? So now these connections, they have a scientific term, or not scientific, but a formal term, which is called the neural connections, neurological neural connections. So neural connection is the more experiences they get, the stronger they become. I'm not going through anything. You can just read through when I'm saying. This is most of the repetition, like a recap kind of a thing, what we just did. So I've just put it here. Now, this is where, it will be better. Like, imagine the child's brain is like a road, and we are going to build the road. And we need, we need to keep, now, in order to develop that road, you need to keep making it stronger. And you need to keep having more crossroads, more other roads to get into it. So how do we build that? So, like, for example, if a child hears a rhyme daily, why are there so many nursery rhymes, so much of repetition in preschool? So that their language, the language road, it becomes strong. Now, if the child is playing with blocks, if they are, figuring things out, and if you give them a task to, make a castle, and how will they make that castle? We are building their thinking road. Okay. So these are different ways that we can push that, make that road stronger for the child. Then when the child talks to the teacher, like if they are sharing things, if they are discussing something during circle time, their communication road is becoming strong. When the child runs around, when the child jumps, so their motor skills, their gross motor skills road is becoming strong. So this is how, with each connection, with each experience, something is working for them. Their brain is getting stronger. Now, if the child only sits and, that if the child only writes, there's no new experience that is going on, the same old pattern, the same old routine is going on for the child, that road will not be strong enough. It will be restricted. So this is why we need the preschool, that they must have so much of, movement, talking, communication, interaction, experiences, everything in preschool. This is why it is so crucial. Okay. So, teachers, in your class, which road are you building, or which road are you focusing on currently? If you all would want to share, you can put it in the chat box as well, or anything, or any road that you want to work on in your classroom. Like, it can be the communication road, it can be any road that you want. You can put it in the chat box also. It's okay, teachers. Rhymes road, yeah. Even I used to work a lot for that, because, yeah. Communication road, yes. I have, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. One chosen each day. That is also interesting. Working on all roads. Overall, the holistic development is crucial. Thank you, teachers. Thank you. So, yeah. So now this road thing that you've understood. So now we also know, we can set those small goals that we can achieve, on daily basis. Like today, I'm going to focus on making their communication road strong. So, you will also automatically come up with ideas, strategies, activities where you can put in these communication prompts or anything like that. If you want rhymes road, so like you will think, let me just focus on this particular rhyme this week. I found this nice rhyme, and let me put it in this particular week. And you will ensure to do it once in a day. From Monday, if you start, by Friday, half of the children will know that rhyme. So through repetition, we can do that. So thank you, teachers. Let me just move ahead. Okay, now there was this theory which I told you that I found two theories little interesting. I've made it as simple, as basic as possible. Even if you just read the screen, you'll know what am I talking about. So there was a psychologist called Jean Piaget. He wanted, that children should not only learn by listening. Okay, the children should learn by doing. When you see our educational system, like especially when the children grow older, there is most of the things they do is only they are applying the listening skills. Then whatever they learn, the retention and all that happens. But we can do that. It may not be possible in the higher grades, but for preschool children, as much as hands-on activities that we can put in, works the best. They learn the best. Okay, so this is what he also mentioned. He explained that preschool children are in the stage, where they learn. They learn through play, imagination, touching, trying, making mistakes. And trust me when I talk about imagination, or when I say about making mistakes. I have tried this, because when my children were young and we used to, I would just give them some basic, those plastic cylindrical pipes that come, and they would just come up and imagine and come up with, if we were reading a dinosaur book, they would create a dinosaur some other day, in a day or two after reading that book, and they would tell us, this is the neck and this is the tail and whatever it was. But the imagination is what was happening, and we knew how we understood that whatever we were talking, it is there. They learned it because they were applying it over here. So it really, really works. Imagination is something that teachers, I would say, that you need to keep pushing the children to use their imagination, because recently there was this article in the newspaper as well, that there is a slack in the level of imagination, and this is that we are losing so many brilliant ideas that may come out because the child imagines. So do keep trying in the classroom to keep encouraging them to use their imaginative skills. Yes, this stage where they learn through different different ways, that is the pre-operational stage. This is the stage where they are learning. Now I have some, see, the child will understand big and small by comparing things. If you show them, a tall, a block of tower, a stack of blocks, like a tall one and a short one, and you can show them that this is what tall is called, and this is what short is called, so they can understand. You can talk about, the child understands language by talking. The child understands balance. You can put a beam over there, or you can put a simple masking tape on the floor and tell the child to walk over it. Like, just put one step ahead on another, and that is what they are understanding, balance. Okay. Then they also have, you can come up with, you can give instructions to them. You can make them do so many things with this. Now, teachers, if we teach colors only on worksheet, how will the brain learn properly? This will come secondary. First, what you need to do is you need to make them explore. For example, if you are introducing color red, tell the children, okay, today, inform the parents also that next week on this particular day, it's going to be red day. So make them wear red clothes, make them carry something red from home, give them some red, fruit or apple or tomato, anything in the snack box, or if you are giving, you provide that. So what is it? We are connecting so many different roads and making them learn the topic, learn the particular concept. Okay, so this is where we come now. Okay, now when I said, so these are the suggestions that I were put across as well. Show them real objects, sorting games, color hunt, painting, matching. Imagine if you do only these 5 activities for color red. Just imagine they are thorough with what the color red is, how it looks, and how to sort it out from other colors. So we've built a very strong brain connection. When it comes to hands-on learning, it becomes easier for them to build those connections. Now, the second theory which I had was by this particular person. He has a little difficult name, so let me just stick to that. Let me just call him this particular psychologist. He said that children learn the best when someone helps them a little. When someone, it is called the zone of proximal development. Matlab, if the child is trying to climb up the steps. If the child is trying to climb up the steps, you don't have to just lift the child and help him and okay, come on. No, it will be difficult for you to climb up the steps. But encourage the child. Okay, come on, take one step ahead. Come on, now put the other foot on the other step. So we are pushing the child. We are helping them. They cannot do the puzzles also by themselves. The teacher, if you give them hints, if you give them, some direction, so it will help them complete it. And this is how the problem solving thing comes into it. But for that problem solving attitude which we want in our children, we need to keep doing this, of just pushing them a little bit in this way, encouraging them. This is called the zone of proximal development. Okay. If the teacher, when you're asking questions, you're giving clues, you're playing with the child, you're talking with them, there is so much interaction happening. And this is what is helping them. When for example, there are two examples in front of you. Like if the, children, if a child says, see my drawing, and the teacher will say, tell me about it. The brain will grow when the child will explore. Sorry, the bad example should be on the other side. It's just a typo error that is left over here. And if the child says, ma'am, see my drawing, and the teacher is like, yeah, I'll see it later, keep it there. Keep it there means it is demotivating the child. It is creating that brain connection is not that strong, that okay, if I draw and if I get to talk about it, just imagine they are expressing and so many things happen. But if the moment it is shut down like this, it is just gone. So talking with the children is brain developing. It is needed, and talking to them, letting them explore themselves, understand their own thought process is what we have a role in. Now, the role of emotions in brain development. This is like, as the image says on the screen, that, this is, like watering a plant, and this is that important when you want a plant to grow. The water is extremely important, and this is where the emotions play, when you want the brain to grow. Yes. So now when the child, feels safe, you must have noticed you also, when the children are sometimes when in the classroom, or when you have your, if you have your own children at home, or if you have any child at home, you'll see that child, sometimes those children, they'll keep playing and they are just talking among themselves, like playing, and they're imagining things, and they're completely at peace. Okay. So this is where, this is when the brain is growing, because they are feeling safe and secured. Okay. But if they are scared, if they are, their focus, the entire focus of the brain will be on that thing that they are feeling, not on learning. Okay. So, and stress blocks learning. Research has shown that. And I think this applies to not only children, but to adults as well. Like, what stress does to us. And just imagine what stress does to the children also. It is hampering them from their process of learning. So, if the teacher shouts or anything, the child's brain will go into that fear mode. And they will be like, okay. They will be guarding themselves. Okay, but if the child if the teacher is smiling, if the teacher is reciprocating to what they're trying to say, interacting with them, their brain is ready to learn. Okay, come on, bring it on. I am going to learn it, and it becomes faster. Now, things that are the emotions that are good, those things that can help them for their brain, for that emotion quota also. So like, if you're encouraging them, if you're smiling, if you're clapping, even if you're just a small pat on their back will do wonders to their brain, because it gives them that another, it just makes them happy, and then they are open to learning. But if there's some shouting happening, some punishment that is going on, ignoring the things about the children, comparing them, it is what will block them in this process of learning. And happy brain learns better, as simple as it can be. Now, now that we understand how the brain grows, here we come into the second part of the thing, that is the activities that we can do in the classroom. So what I've done is I've divided into it three different developmental stages. Like, the activities, like I want, I'll show you those activities that can be done when we want to enrich their cognitive development, the language development, and the social development. So, it becomes, I've just bifurcated it. Okay, these are basic activities. Most of you teachers may be doing, may not be doing, may be knowing, may have forgotten about it. But these are what really helps, and you can, just modify it a little bit as per your concept that is going on. You can, change it that way. So activities, the cognitive development. But before we start with what is, when we are talking about cognitive development, what basically it is basically thinking skills. It is basically, everything that is related when it goes, like your brain, how it thinks, how it remembers, the memory, how it solves, if there is a task in front of them, how are they, how it solves that problem, how do they understand, what reasoning can they give. Everything comes into this, in the cognitive development. So see, and cognitive development activities must be hands-on. This is like, it should be a criteria. The first activity, the suggestion, teachers, you can jot it down if you wish to, but yeah. So the first activity is the sorting game. So we do that, and I think this has been always there, in the preschool thing, when sorting is something that really, it is very important, very crucial. But like, give children, first you can start with different materials, like give them buttons and beads and everything together and tell them to sort. Then you can give them different colored buttons, and then you can tell them to sort it color wise. Then you can give them only with the buttons, you can give them big and small buttons and tell them to sort it size wise. You can give them, textured buttons or any other feeling, or beads with textures, or leaves, different leaves, shape of the leaves, anything, and let them do it, sort it out. So sorting can be done for so many things, and trust me, it is something that you can never go wrong with it, because it is going to teach them something or another. So here they are learning, how to compare two things that are there in front of them. They are thinking on what criteria is, okay, this particular button is little bigger than this one, so yeah, this is small and this is big. So they are thinking, it is making them think, it is making them classify, like classify things. Okay, so this is how the red color beads will go in the red cup, the orange will go in orange, the yellow will go in yellow. So these simple sorting tricks will help. Like, you can put in one particular sorting, and these games are not also, you don't have to pre-plan things a lot. You don't have to make too many things. Just get something and you can sort it out. You can use something as simple as blocks also, and you can make them do it. I remember once what we did was, we had some, when you mentioned block, I just thought of it. We had those, huge plastic blocks that were there in our classroom, and we had it in yellow, blue, green, red, those four colors, I guess. And what we did was, we got all the blocks in the middle of the classroom, and in four corners of the classroom, my classroom was not very big, but in the four corners, we put one block, like in this corner, one red, one yellow, one blue, and one green. So you're getting an idea what am I trying to say. So we used to tell the child to pick up a block, and then look at the corner and go and sort it, like wherever it is, go and do it, go and put it there. So this is how they sorted the blocks, and this activity was a super hit. So you can also try it. There is no too much of preparations, because I already know preschool teachers, being a preschool teacher is a lot of hard work. So these suggestions are that you don't have to pre-plan things. You just, whatever you have it in front of you, you can do it. Yeah. So here we have some ideas that I came across on the net, and I've just put in. You can do shape sorting also. This, like, it really helps. And now the next one is puzzles. You all might be doing, but these things really, these things help them in developing their the cognitive department, right? So the jigsaw puzzles we have, the child is learning shape puzzles, picture matching. So here they are focusing, they are remembering things, they are doing their problem solving skills. Okay, this piece doesn't fit here, I need to try to fit it there. They are patient with it. They are just not getting frustrated and just throwing it away. They have to be patient for the puzzle to be together, right? So, and see, as do not solve the puzzle for them, give them only hints. As we saw, what the left guide said, that it was, what is the second theory that we did, was that it is just push them a little bit, give them the guided learning. Don't solve it for them. Okay. These are the few puzzles that you can do, which we do as per the thing. Now we have a mystery bag game. This is also super fun. We used to do this once in a week, and just it was a small paper bag or a red cloth bag, not paper bag, sorry, a small red cloth bag which I had got from home, and we would put any random things basically as per the concept. So sometimes we would say, remove something, and we would give hints. Okay, this is if it's about animals. So like I would say that I have an animal which has a mane around its neck. It is called the king of the jungle, and it the sound it makes is a roar. And we are giving them hints and they are guessing it. Then sometimes we would just put those animal figurines and pass it on among the children. One child they don't have to see, they just have to feel the animal, feel that figurine, that toy, and they have to guess which animal is it. So then sometimes we would tell the children to get some stuff from their home, any particular toy, anything small, and put it in the thread bag, and then tell them, okay, come on, now you have to feel it, guess it, and do it. Or you can give riddles, you can give hints to the children. If the child is in junior KG or senior, they are quite apt for that. You can make them do it. So it is that sensory, the tactile learning is happening. They are thinking, their memory, their vocabulary is increasing. So everything, it's a multi-sensory learning. Yeah, simple. You can make it. I had made a simple. I had a red bag which I had made it. It's just that it should be a little attractive for the children. When they see it, they should be excited for it. That's it. What comes next? This is like this you can do it. Most like a red block, blue block, red block, and what else will come? You can do this for also when you do a story. After the story, when you are if you are having a recap of the story, you can apply this technique over there. That is, when you say a sentence, any one liner, like if it's the Lion and the Mouse story. So once upon a time there was a lion. So it will be the children who will come up and now tell me the next, what comes next. So he was sleeping in the jungle. Third sentence, a mouse was passing by. Fourth sentence, and what comes next. You can do that also. And it is a very good brain activity. This I've just put in a worksheet that can be done. Now we are coming to languages. We are coming into language, which is not only restricted to the alphabet or learning anything. It is about how to talk, how to listen, and how to express yourself. So this is what we will try to focus on. This is show and tell. This is like a classic, a tried and tested activity. Tell them to get a toy, tell them to anything, For example, if you have a fruit theme going on, so tell them to get any fruit from home. Tell them to talk about the fruit. It is which color, have I eaten it, do I like it, why I don't like it, why I like it. It is a big fruit or a small fruit, anything the child wants to say. You can prompt by asking, giving some questions, like putting in some hints for them to ask, but for them to share the things. But you can just prompt them a little bit. But this will, give them that boost of confidence also, like when they have to talk. Yes. So that is there, show and tell. And, trust me, this is like they feel as if, okay, we've achieved something, and that smile on their face, that smug look on their face is to die for. Picture talk. Now this is also another classic, just put in a picture, and trust me, you will see what the children see, and we have the things that we have not even noticed. For example, there is this picture over here. Okay, this particular picture, we may see there are children playing in the park, we may see that is there, but a child may come up with things that, okay, the child is reading a book, but before that, he was playing with blocks and a red car. Can you look into the image and tell me where was it? So these kind of observations is what we want from the children, and it comes from the children as well, but we just need to give them the direction, guide them through that. Okay, so this is how the thought process works. It helps them in forming their sentences. The sentence formation comes into the picture, the thinking, the memory, the describing things, how to express their ideas, everything helps. Action rhymes, there are so many action rhymes, and make them do it. I tried searching for a link in which had the alphabet freeze dance or something. I was searching for that exact video, what we used to do, and it was amazing. That person in that video would make the letters with his own body. Like if it's A, he would keep doing this activity. If it's B, he would do something like a curve, or if it's a C, he would curve, like he would also bend down a little bit and try to make it a curve. And this was a superb song. If I get it, I'll share the video with you in the next class, and try searching. It was alphabet freeze or something, but just see if anything else comes into it. Because with actions, and the children used to do it, they used to love it, and they used to remember that, okay, C means it's a curve. So if they are doing it, they will remember it. Brain needs action. Okay. Pass the ball and speaking game, like this is when the passing the parcel, when the passing the parcels, when we used to play the traditional passing the parcel, when the music would stop, the ball, whoever it's there in that child's whoever's hand is it in, so you can ask like, what is your favorite fruit, or just tell them to make any sentence and tell us, or say anything of what they did. You can give them some questions, prompt them with a question, and let them answer, or let them come up with their own thing, anything, but it is very good for them to boost that confidence. Now we come to the third part of the activities, that is social and emotional development. Just give me a moment. I'll take a water break for like a second. Okay. Teachers, I hope you all are there and listening to me. Just give me a high five on or a thumbs up in the chat box, so I know that I've not made my teachers. Thanks, Tanupriya ma'am. Yeah. So I hope I've not made my teachers fall asleep. Okay, great. I like the prompt response. Like I like it the moment I say it and I get it. I like it. Thank you so much, teachers. Thank you. Okay. So let's just get back before I'll before any much delay. So now we are getting into the activities for social and emotional development. So it is basically, as I mentioned earlier, when your brain is happy or when you feel safe, it is learning. Otherwise, it blocks itself from learning in any other emotions that they feel. Like if it's scared or it's fear, it will block them. So let's just have some games that can promote that. Okay. Circle time sharing. Now this, what I used to do was, once in a week, for every week, I would have one question. Like one question which I would think of, like how was the weather today, or what did you do last night, or anything. So sometimes I would ask that question, if the time permitted, I would ask that question to all the children that I had. We had a ratio of 11:1. So all the 11 children I used to ask, if the time permits, if it was a light day. But if, there was, otherwise I would ask only 2 or 3 children, and then I would, ask the other 2 or 3 children the next day, but the same question. So what happened was, by Friday, I knew that they were very, comfortable when any kind of such a question was asked. And for the on Friday, one more question I would drop in, that what would you do today after school? So this was also like, okay, yeah, I did this yesterday, but today I may do this or I may do the same thing, and they would keep, it will just give them that accelerate मार देंगे हम और फिर वो दौड़ेगा गाड़ी, right? So the children will learn, and here they are learning, they are listening, they are waiting for the turn to do it, they are expressing their feelings. So this is building their emotional brain. That emotional quotient that they say, this is where it starts building it. Role play, give them, put a simple setup or tell that, of like maybe a doctor or teacher game. So, what these things, what we as children, I mean, I as a child, I used to do that a lot. I would pretend to be a teacher and keep teaching my siblings. I would, own a shop and, as if I'll sell the vessels that we had in our kitchen. Then pretending to make the sofa a ship and, sailing in water and drowning and all that stuff. Those amazing games that we used to play. But trust me, those shaped my imaginative skills. Those were the things that were, you are applying your problem solving things, that okay, one of my cousin is falling and drowning drowning on the living room floor, and how will we help him come out, and how will we push him out, and what all things that, these things, the role play is needed. And now if we start doing this in the classroom, we are making the parents also aware of it. Somehow this role play thing, the imagination, everything has taken a back seat. It should not. Trust me, teachers, it should not. And if you keep pushing, coming up with these ideas of making them do any kind of a role play regularly, from day one when your academic year started, and at the last day of that academic year, you will see a drastic change in the children, and I really want that, that you teachers should keep pushing, to use their imaginative skills and educate the parents about it as well. And, pretend play is a very important tool in preschool, as Piaget said. So here we have, and, it will help in imagination, social rules, language, confidence, as I mentioned, you can do that. Group games, jitne bhi passing the ball hai, follow the lead. We used to have this game called Captain Change the Action. So like there is somebody who's, snapping their fingers and everybody is following it. There's one person who doesn't know who's the captain, and then the captain will change and everybody will follow the lead. So all these games are group games. They help in, team building, cooperation. It is amazing, these really, they are not just for fun. They are developing your brain. Feelings game. So show them, emotions like these. And we used to, you can also put up a chart on the wall and you can say that, just put up some smileys on the thing, like have some, like stickers of smileys. And they're the picture of the children on the chart. Okay, so when the child comes in, ask them, okay, how do you feel today? And tell them to pick up that emotional sticker. Like it can be an angry smiley, sad smiley, fearful, scared, happy, no, anything. And then, tell them to put it. They will start understanding themselves. That is really important, that their understanding for themselves should play in, because in current times, the way things are going, this is like the topmost priority, to have their emotional quotient built strong and learn and love themselves the way they are, so they can do it. Or you can show them emotions and tell them to express it or imitate it, as I've written over here. So you can there are many things, but give them that feelings topic over there. Now, my teachers. Now, teachers, which activity do you use daily? Do you use any of these activities that I mentioned daily, or which one would you want to start? You can give me. Let's start with which one would you want to start from these? You can put it in the chat box. I would like to hear. I would like to see any activity that we did now. Which one would you like to start in your classroom? We did cognitive, we did language, we did social development activities. So any one activity which you thought, okay, yeah, I would like to try this in my classroom. Any? Come on, teachers. Put it in the chat box, please. The sorting game, yes, role play. हाँ, picture talk, हाँ, picture talk भी मजा आता है. एक week के लिए या two weeks के लिए put the picture, poster, a printout of a nice picture and put it on the wall and let the children keep seeing it and observing it. They will keep observing so many different things and it helps. And picture talk suggestions I would like to give. You can put a picture of a market, you can put a picture of a fire station, you can put a picture of a beach thing, and imagine one child will also tell you if there is a beach thing on their in the picture talk. They will tell you that they just saw a shark passing by also. So picture talks works. Puzzles, yes. Chalo, good. So I'm glad to know that my teachers are listening. Yeah. Okay. So let's do the next. Let's go ahead with you all and let's see what role is expected from the teachers. You are like the, if you are like the backbone of their learning. It is because of you that they are learning, their brain is growing. So yes, and the environment also which you create is as such that it should be lucrative for the brain to learn. Okay, so let's start with the role of the teachers in the brain development. And as you know that you all are like the superheroes who are shaping it up. So let's just go ahead with it. Now, what is the role of the teacher? Who develops those experiences for the teachers, for the children in the classroom? It is you. And I remember my center head, the principal, she used to always tell us, this is the age where the child, the student, each and every child is literally worships their teacher. Like for them, it is like whatever the teacher said is like, is bus like ho chuka, like this is what we are going to follow. So this is this is how teachers, this is like so crucial you all are. So the teacher is not only restricted to teaching the syllabus, it is basically you are responsible for shaping the child's brain, and that too every day. As I gave you the example of like, we learned about how the shaping of brains through making the road strong. So you are the one who's, responsible to make those roads strong. Yeah. And, environment, the classroom environment, everything works. Now, this idea was like, I just adapted it a little bit. I'm just giving you a thing. I'm not telling you to follow it, like just, to the T, but something or other you can take from this entire, classroom idea, that what should it have is these things that like you can put in, and it is nothing that's too much to ask for, but you can try to make things, and most of the classes will be having it. So these things are there, it is like a very enriching environment for the children to develop. Yeah, so like learning corners hai, blocks hai, learning corners, that is, the math corner, reading corner bana diya, which has a basket of books over there, books corner as I written, art material, sensory, space to move, all these things. Now, instead of only notebook work, why don't, when you're talking about the concept like big and small, why don't we use objects to teach them? Instead of only teaching, why don't we take the children, if we are talking about leaves or trees, why don't we take them outdoor and let them explore the outdoor area, the park area, to see that, okay, there are twigs, there are different shapes of leaves, how do the dry leaf looks like, all these things. Instead of just sitting, why don't we have some games movement activity. Instead of just teaching them what is a standing line, why don't we draw a standing line on the floor with a masking tape or with a chalk and tell them to walk on it? So these more experiences, more brain connections, right? So that is what we need. Giving that emotional safety. As I mentioned, I'm repeating one more time. If the child feels safe and secured, if the brain is happy, they are learning. So let's make that environment. How? Like, let's keep smile, that smile, encourage them, listen to them when they are saying. I know it's a little difficult to listen to, like, that number of children that you have in the classroom when they are talking all together, but try, let's just, give them that feeling at least of that you're listening. Allowing mistakes that happen, avoid shouting. Why did you do this? Sit down. And that comes into that thing. And then, why don't we just say, let's try again. Why don't we try it again? Why don't you sit down once and do it? The safe child, so they don't feel that, like their attack mode will not come on, Then we have, if you're teaching colors, this hands-on learning. So if you're teaching colors, numbers here, you can just go through it. What have I written? I'm just giving you some basic suggestions. Like, if you're teaching letters, I used to do this. I have done it with my children as well. I have I used to, roast that rava, that you have, that suji. And I would keep it in a box, and for every letter that we wanted to teach them, I would put it in a steel plate, and I would make them trace those letters, or make them teach those letters through that, the sand writing thing that we did. So you can also do that. Use real shapes. Show them, like what a real shapes looks like. And also you can tell them, look around yourself in the classroom or at home, or when you go home, on the way, on the road, where you can see spot circles, where you can spot a square, where can you see triangles. You can ask them, and next day you are utilizing their observational skills, and you are channelizing their brain, and next day they'll give you nice responses which you've not expected. Then hands-on learning. If you're using those sensory learning, that is the 5 senses that we have, like touch, karado, that multi-sensory learning also that is there. So, make them involved, get them involved in it, stronger the learning. Interaction. So, like the best learning happens through interaction. Best matlab learning really happens. It becomes a smooth process for them. So, keep prompting, strike up a conversation, circle time, and the dispersal time that you have, like that 5 minutes before you disperse the child, is the best. I mean, it's the time to, have those kind of conversations. Circle time and the dispersal time. Give them hints when they are doing something challenging. Listen to the child, what they are trying to share. Encourage speaking. Give them those show and tell, the mystery box thing, everything, so let them do that. If the child has made a house, then why don't you, like, very good, instead of very good, just say, tell me more about the house. Yeah. So what we used to do, like we would give them during arrival time also. We would give them, that children are sitting, we would give them a piece of paper and some crayons, and we would tell them to draw. And while they are drawing, one of the teachers would go and ask, like, what have you drawn over here? What is this? And even if it's a scribbling, they will say, my daddy is driving the car. I went for an ice cream yesterday. This is my strawberry ice cream. Anything they'll say. But we used to note it down on that piece of paper itself. And we would keep it, or, put it up in the classroom. And, it shows, the ideas that were there in their mind, and they were trying to express themselves through art. So, interact with them. Brain development in preschool, all these things you need, that's there. Okay, every 10 to 15 minutes, there has to be some kind of a transition in terms of movement. Movement is not only wasting time, but it is, movement is not only wasting time, it is about, building their brain. Like, not, that why do they put transition ideas in the, why do we need those transition rhymes or songs when we are switching from one section to another, like from concept time we are going to the other thing? Why do we need that? Because that will make them alert again. Okay, so think about your class teachers, tick mark the boxes that, okay, yeah, my children do get these. If I need to work on this, it is just for you. It is just for your thing, that you make a list down of things that, okay, I need to inculcate more activities for movement, or, I need to put in few more minutes in talking thing, how it works, play time I need to give them, any emotional support that I need, hands-on learning, how can I make it? So you do it for yourself. It is yourself, quick reflection, self-reflection of what you want to put in, okay, in your classroom, what you want to include more. Okay, small changes in the classroom can make big changes in the brain. Yeah. And this, we are coming to the end of the thing. It is in early childhood, we are not only teaching subjects, we are building the brain, we are building the confidence, we are building the child's future. Yes, teachers. And I'm sure you all are doing a commendable job. And so here we've come to the end of our workshop. I hope it has been a good learning time. You enjoyed this, whatever I shared over here, and I'll try to make it interactive, but it's because we have a huge audience, so I am not able to have those interactions more with you all. But over the course, of course, we will keep doing that. And so don't forget to fill in the registration forms and the review forms. And please drop in the review after the workshops. And thank you so much. Any questions, any queries, my teachers, you can ask me. You can just, any doubts about this topic that we have, because, we'll be there over the other things. And, the other topics also, they are very interesting. So let's just, we'll be there, and I hope to see you all there. So any topics, any queries, please let me know. And we will be, I think the next, the calendar also will be given in the forms, ma'am. And the total number of sessions and everything will be, is there in the calendar that we will be providing. So once you register, you will be getting all the details of the number of the topics of the workshop and everything. So just fill in the details and the link will be sent, ma'am. And how can we promote retention? The attention span, you mean to say, ma'am? And see, the review link has been shared over here in the chat box. Just have a look, and the registration form also will be there, the link for that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mitali ma'am. Thanks for conducting such a wonderful session on very unique topic. Yeah. Thank you all the teachers. Thanks for joining the session. So as ma'am was discussing, please fill that registration form so that you will get the certificates and you can join the further sessions. So the calendar and all the things about the further sessions will be given to you directly there. Okay. So we have shared you the registration link. You can just check it out and you can fill the same. And I'm just dropping you the contact details. If you are not able to fill the registration link or something, you can just contact us on that. So we'll share you the registration link and we'll help you with that. But please understand, this is very, very important and compulsory for all of you to fill the registration form. So you can join further sessions and also get the certificates for the same. Okay. And there is a second thing. As Mitali ma'am has took such a wonderful session and all of you are giving such a wonderful reviews here. So please, we request you to put your reviews on the given link so that it will be helpful for us to conduct more and more sessions which are on very beautiful topics. Okay. Thank you everyone. Please fill the link which we have given. एंड आपको अभी हम लोग कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स भी फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं, तो उस पे भी आप कॉल कर सकते हैं या डिटेल्स के लिए, ताकि अगर आपको ये लिंक फॉर्म करने फिल करने नहीं हो पा रहा है तो यू कैन कॉन्टेक्ट अस, तो हम लोग आपको उसके लिए भी हेल्प करेंगे, राइट? सो प्लीज फिल दैट लिंक वॉट एवर वी हैव गिवन, रजिस्ट्रेशन लिंक. Supriya, can you just please forward the contact details in the chat box? So anybody who is unable to fill the form, they can contact us there. See, we have shared the contact details also. So please fill the registration form link and the you can give the review to us on the given link. Okay. And if anybody is unable to do, please contact us on the given details. Okay. I have mentioned from Edu Projects 9370195023 or 9309212041 or 7066222212. So we have given you all the contacts. You can contact us on any number, so our team will do the needful for you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining the session. Have a good day. And now we will be ending the session in 5 minutes. So if anybody has anything, or if anybody has left filling the form, please do the needful. We are just keeping it open for another 5 minutes. If anybody has not filled the form, please fill it. So you can join the next session. We are not going to accept any anyone who has not filled the whatever link we have given form. So please fill the form so you can join the next sessions. If anybody has any doubts, please contact us on the given details. Okay. We have shared the link again for you. So please use that, and you can just review us on the link which we have given. So we can also understand what way we can give you the better trainings on the further topics. So we are keeping it open for next 5 minutes. If anybody has left filling the form, please do the needful. Thank you. And who has filled the form, they can leave the session now. Thank you.